Hello everyone, welcome to Bratati Science class where I am Bratati and today we will take a two tissues, that is chapter number 6 of class 9 science. Those who are new, please go back to my channel and check the playlist of all class 7 science chapters and class 8 science chapters. Alright, so without wasting our time, let's jump and dive into today's topic, which is tissues. So in the last class, we will do a quick recap. Let me share my screen with you all. Okay, so in the last class, we have seen about the cell. So this is basically the cell. Okay, this is cell. And these are many cells when joined together. They form a tissue. Similar kind of tissues, they perform the similar action or function. And those tissues can be joined to form an organ. And many organs together, they form the organ system, like it can be digestive system or excretory system or circulatory system, etc. So here similar types of cells, like for example the blood cells, together they will form the blood tissues, or the muscle cells that will together form muscle tissues, right? And muscular organ, or you can say the circulatory organs. Okay, so these are formed in the organ systems we just discussed, like excretory system, circulatory system. Many organisms like digestive system, respiratory system, and so on, they come together to form an organism. So in details you can see in the chapter number 5. Please go through it. Now, what are the functions of tissues? So children, let me tell you, this is a snapshot of, you can tell it's a revision time or exam preparation. I will just go to the point wise, not the whole chapter in detail. So this is a shortcut, or you can tell a one shot quick revision video. Okay. So hope you will enjoy it. Any doubts you can write in the comment box and let's see how it goes. So function, the tissues provide the shape to the body, as well as it helps us, our body, to conserve the heat and energy. Okay, the one more question can come about the study of the tissue, which is histology, as well as the study of cell that we have learned, it is called cytology. All right, so moving to the next slide, classification. The broad classification of the tissues can be plant tissues and the animal tissues. All right, the plant tissues and the animal tissues. The plant tissues which are found in the plant can be again subdivided into meristematic tissues and the permanent tissues. The meristematic tissues can divide, the cells in the meristematic tissues can divide rapidly and actively, whereas the permanent tissues, the cells do not actively divide and they are basically permanent. They die, rarely they die and rejuvenate, right? In the animal cells, that can be subdivided into four parts, like epithelial tissues, connective tissues, muscle tissues, and the nervous tissues. All right, so we will go in details one by one. First, we'll see the plant tissues. In that, what can be the difference between the meristematic tissues and the permanent tissues. Okay. So as you can see, the meristematic tissues, the cells present in the meristematic tissues are very small with the thin cell wall. The intercellular space also absent in that. Now, what is intercellular space? Let me show you. This is the tissue, the cross section of a tissue where there are many cells. And in the cells, this is compulsory the brain or of the cell, that is nucleus. In between, these are the space between the cells, and this is called intercellular space, right? In between the cells in the tissue, there are the place which is called intercellular space, which is absent in the meristematic tissues. These kind of tissues, as you know, they actively divide. So they must be present in the area where the plants grow the most. All right. So, okay. So in converse, now in the permanent tissues, the cells can be of variable cells. For example, here small cells and similar kind of cells. Like for example, all are this hexagonal shape. But here we can see variable tissues with a variable size and shape. So this is the permanent tissues where the cells are of variable sizes, variable cells are present rather, and in the meristematic tissues, you can see the similar kind of cells are present. These permanent tissues may have a thin or a thick cell wall with the large vacuoles in it. You know, vacuoles again, they helps to store the energy in the cell and they don't divide easily. Okay. So now moving to the next, the meristematic tissues, depending on the position of their presence in the plants, they can be subdivided to apical meristematic tissues, intercalary and the lateral one. So apical tissues, as you can see, mainly present in the tip of the plants. It can be the tip of the shoot or can be the tip of the root. Root is growing downwards, the shoot is growing upwards. So this tip of these organs of the plants, the apical meristematic tissues are present. Intercalary tissues are present in the grass and you see this one, these two are called the nodes. This is called node. This is one node, this is another node. In between the place, that is called internode, in between the two nodes. So intercalary tissues generally help the increase in the length of the tissues in between the internode. Okay, and lateral tissues that are present in the side laterally, and you know, with the position it helps to develop the thickness or the width of the plant's bark or the stem. So these are the three types of meristematic tissues. Now permanent tissues can be two types, simple and complex. So first we are going to simple permanent tissues, which can be of three types: parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Parenchyma, generally living cell. Parenchyma is living cell. I am showing you this parenchyma tissue where the cells are this hexagonal type and chlorophyll is present. That's why they help in the photosynthesis of the cell. It is a living cell and intercellular space is present. It also helps in storage of the food. So this is the nucleus, this is the cell and this is the parenchyma tissue where intercellular space is present. So these are the intercellular space present in the parenchyma cells. Now what about the collenchyma? Collenchyma, in this kind of tissues, this is the collenchyma tissue. In this, in the corner of the cells, the cellulose are present. See, the corner are thick. The corner of the cells are thick because this is cellulose present in the corners. This is also, so this is cellulose. Cellulose present and the intercellular space might be present or absent. So this kind of tissues, collenchyma, gives the mechanical support and flexibility to the plants. So where does it present? You know, this nodes and the soft part of the this kind of internode part, or sometimes it's the petiole part, that is the branch and the leaf from where it is starting. So that is very gentle. This gives the flexibility as well as the mechanical support. Sclerenchyma cells are actually dead cells. They have thick cell walls. Intercellular space is absent. Now you see, if something is giving strength and support, dead cells, non-living cells, and with the thick cell wall, that means it is the protective layer of the plants. Generally, the sclerenchymas are present at the bark, in the bark, which is shielding, which is creating a shield, and so that the gaseous substance from the outside and inside, it is less. The water prevention, the transpiration rate also is less due to this sclerenchyma. So what is important? It is dead cell, it has thick cell wall, intercellular space is absent, it gives the strength and support to the plants. Okay. Now the parenchyma, when they are with the chlorophyll, when chlorophylls are present, they are called chlorenchyma. One mark question may come. Define chlorenchyma. So we can say the parenchyma tissues with the chlorophyll present in them that help them to photosynthesize, that is called chlorenchyma tissue. And arenchyma tissues are those parenchymas with the air cavity present in them. They are called arenchyma. Okay. Now we are moving to the Permanent tissues which are complex in nature. So simple parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Now moving to the permanent tissue, which are again of two kinds or two division, xylem and phloem. Xylem has four parts and this is basically dead tissue because except xylem parenchyma, the other three parts are dead. Trachea, vessel and xylem fiber, these three organs are dead. Only xylem parenchyma is living and they transport the water and the minerals from the roots to the above part of the plants to shoot and at different parts. And phloem, this actually living tissue because except phloem fiber, all the other parts or organs like sieve cell, sieve tissue, companion cells, these are all living. That's why it is called living tissues, which help in the transport of food. The food prepared in the plant, in the leaves of the plant, which is called the food factory, that is transported to the other organs. It is bidirectional. It can goes downwards as well as upwards. Right? Now let us see the difference between the xylem and the phloem. So as we discussed, the xylem tissues, that is unidirectional. The water transport is always from root to the apical parts, other parts. And phloem is bidirectional. Xylem transport the water and minerals, whether the phloem transport the food. Like xylem, in xylem, the except the parenchyma, others are dead, but in phloem, except fiber, all are living. So that difference can come. Children, you can take a screenshot of these slides that I have prepared. It helps you to, it creates a mind map to you. You can also stick those in your study table. That is a last minute preparation. Like you can see that all in the bullets. Now we are moving to the protective tissues. These protective tissues can be epidermis and the cork tissues. The epidermis is present in the animals like it is our skin. We can call it the skin tissues. We call it epidermis. So this blue color one, take it as epidermis and it is protected with the wax-like structure which is called cuticle. And in cuticle, the protein present is cutin, C-U-T-I-N. Cutin is present in the cuticle. And this epidermis is present in the skin. So as you know, it protects the plants. It is protects the plants from injury, water loss, etc. Okay. Now, cuticle is the wax-like substance. Like if it is like this, without any, suppose there is no gap. Okay. This is epidermis and this is cuticle. In such cases, how do the excess of water present in the plant's body or it helps in the transportation, transpiration or the gaseous exchange? Actually, there is a gap and this gap is called, see, this is stomata. The gap is present here and this gap is called stomata which helps to exchange of the gas. So excess of water or the gaseous exchange only takes place through the stomata. It goes outside or inside but not to the other parts. There is strictly prohibited. In other parts, no gaseous exchange takes place. Only through the stomata it goes outside and inside bidirectional. Now this, if this is the hole that is called stomata, it has two guard cells. Two guard cells protect the stomata, the small opening. Stomata is singular and in plural we call it stoma. Now you can see downwards to the inner part of the epidermis, there is hypodermis. Hypodermis is mainly prepared with the adipose tissues and the areolar tissues. We will come to see what are those. These two helps the skin to be tightened, glossy and not the wrinkles. So hypodermis is the one which creates the glowiness. Now we are moving to the cuticle. The cuticle, the function of cuticle, it lowers the transportation mainly for the xerophytes. Xerophytes are those desert plants like we can say cactus, date palms. Those are found in the desert. So they are the xerophytes and they already have less amount of water. And how do they store it? You must know this. They store it in the stem, the fluffy stems. And what we see in the cactus, this is not their leaf. So what are these? These are actually the stem. These are the stem of cactus and the leaves are modified to thorns. These thorns are the modified leaves. So this is for cactus, xerophytes, and stomata allows the gaseous exchange. Okay, so these protective tissues are covered. Now we are moving to the cork tissue. The cork tissue is present in the outermost layer of the plant stem. With this, you can understand it again provides the mechanical support and prevents the injury. In the cork tissue, in the cell wall of the cork tissue, suberin is present, and suberin is the material that do not allow the exchange of the substance. If this is the bark of the tree and there is the cross section of it, then there is a cross section. This part we can call it cork, cork cambium and all. These are the bark of the trees, right? It's the cross section. So this cork helps commercially is used in the bottle cap, shuttle, and this is the shuttle feather, badminton cork. So this part is the cork and this is the feather. So this is the commercial use of the cork. As it is in the outermost layer and it prevents any water loss or gaseous exchange, it helps in the, that prevents the injury, protects the plants. Okay, now this is cork tissues is done. So quickly we are moving to the animal tissues, and in animal tissues we know that there are the 4 subdivisions. First let us go through epithelial tissues. The epithelial tissues can be squamous epithelium. Okay, squamous epitheliums are present in the mouth and esophagus. And squamous epithelium, they have a base, and on the base, these are the squamous epithelium. They have the nucleus. When on the baseline, different layers of squamous epitheliums are formed. See again another layer. So layer after layer, squamous epitheliums are present. That is called stratified squamous epithelium. Okay, so squamous epithelium, one layer, and these are the flat, basically thin cell and present in the mouth and esophagus. But stratified squamous, that has many layers, and this is present in the outer layer of the skin. Next, columnar epithelium, which is present in our small and the large intestine, which on the baseline, the cells create the column look. These are the columns. And these are the nucleus. So these are the columnar, sorry, choose. Now we are moving to the cuboidal epithelial tissue. The cuboidal epithelial tissues are present in the kidney. And how do they look like? On the baseline, they look cuboidal shape. These are the cuboidal shapes. Inside, obviously, don't forget to put the nucleus. It gives the, this is the cuboidal and this is the squamous. So they looks like cube and they are square shaped. Now, ciliated epithelial tissues on the columnar tissues. So, these are the columnar tissues. On the columnar tissues, when cilia are present, these are called the ciliary or ciliated epithelial tissues, which is present in our respiratory system. You know the hair-like substance that prevents the dusks and outer particles to get inside our body. And glandular epithelial cells, basically this kind of columnar tissues or the ciliated tissues, when they are present in the glands like our salivary glands and other glands, they are called the glandular epithelial tissues. Okay, so what are the functions of them? Definitely they protect the body organs because they are present in our skin. So the outermost part and intercellular space is not there. So intercellular space we have seen in the parenchyma tissues, but in animal tissues in squamous, intercellular space is absent, means they give the apt protection or give the firmness to our skin. All right. Shall we move to the next part of tissues? That is our muscular tissues. And muscle cells or muscular tissues, that helps in the movement and locomotion. Movement when we move our organs, our limbs, okay, in one place. We are not moving from one place to another. That is movement. And the locomotion is from point A to point B when we are walking and we are displaced. Displacement is there, that is the locomotion. Now here, see, that is the muscular tissue. There are the contractile protein. The main function of contractile protein is to contract and relax. Now if this is our biceps and this is our triceps, okay. So biceps, when we are opening our arm, the biceps is relaxed and the triceps is contracted, and when we are closing it, the triceps is relaxed and the bicep is contracted. So continuously contraction and relaxation, contract and relax, that is how muscle works, and that is because of the contractile protein. Muscular tissues can be subdivided to the striated tissues, the non-striated tissues, and the cardiac tissues. The striated tissues that are also called as skeletal tissues or the voluntary tissues. Now, this is present in the limbs, okay, our body, and it has this band, or we can call they can have the band. Okay, so these are the striated tissues. Okay, these are called the striatum because they have the bands, and these are the nucleus. So these can get tired. So we get tired when we do a lot of exercise, when we do more of the physical work, we get tired easily. Okay, but and voluntary, we can move our hand and limbs, like we don't have to depend on, whenever we want we can move our hands, we can move our legs, etc. And non-striated, that is involuntary, that is not under our control, and they are also called as smooth tissues. Now they don't have any striatum, and this is how they look like. Okay, these are present in the blood tissues or stomach or intestine. These kind of tissues are the smooth or non-striated. They don't get tired. The blood is circulating continuously non-stop. Okay, the stomach is doing its action. The juices are coming, the bile juices, digestive juices are coming to digest the food. Intestine is doing its own work, the absorptions of the minerals or the water, and then sending it to the other parts of the body. It don't get tired because it is involuntary and it's not in our control. The cardiac or the cardiac is present in the heart, and our heart is also pumping non-stop. The day it stops working or it is doing something, some cardiac arrest we say nowadays, right? So there are many things related to heart which we are not sure about, like how the stroke comes, right? And this for the pacemaker is there, like we need to check that whether our heartbeat is coming regularly or not. Sometimes we see that we are getting senseless or some reason because the heart is not working properly, the blood is not pumped and circulating properly. So then we have to do the MRI and all, and finally pacemaker is put. The pacemaker is artificial heart. Now, the heart is again involuntary. It doesn't work on our, it doesn't wait for our order. It continuously pump the blood. Hmm? And it is like in minute, like we can check our pulse here. It's the same as the flow of the blood pump. So same rate. Okay, the breathing rate, the pulse rate is similar to the blood circulation rate also. And they do not get tired. It is also like this. Okay, here from here again one more. So these tissues are present in the heart. So these are the three types of muscular tissue. Now moving to the third subdivision, that is the connective tissue. With the name you can understand it helps to connect one organ to another, one part to another. That can also be subdivided to proper connective tissue, supportive connective tissue, and the fluid connective tissue. So proper connective tissues comes under proper connective tissue. There are loose and dense. So with the name you can understand loose and dense, more concentrated and less concentrated. Supportive one can be subdivided to our bone which is present in our body. How many? 206 bones are there in our body, and cartilage, and the fluid that comes as a blood. So let's dive into it. The proper connective tissue, the loose proper connective tissues are areolar and adipose. The adipose tissues that gives the fat in our body, This is because of the adipose tissues. When we are getting this fat in our stomach or other parts, we get the fat, and that is because adipose tissues are present inside the muscle. And the areola, that has an air bubble. Okay, and you know hypodermis, as I told you, that is underneath layer of the epidermis, which consists of these two tissues, areolar and adipose. In the dense proper connective tissue, it can be subdivided to tendon and ligament. Now, tendon and ligament, what are this? Tendon attaches the muscle to the bone. The muscle to the bone, that is tendon. So, the mnemonic of for the tendon can be MTB, that is muscle, tendon, bone. Muscle, tendon, and bone. Ligament, this attaches two bones together. So this can be BLB, bone, ligament, bone. Bone, ligament, bone. These mnemonics can help you to understand and remember for a long time. Now the 1 mark question comes, what is the difference between tendon and ligament? Or write a definition of what is tendon and ligament. So let's see the tendon, MTB, that is muscle to bone. It is non-elastic and tough. It helps to move the bones. So if this is the muscle and this is the bone, then, and here two bones, here is a one, here is another bone. So this is bone, this is muscle, here this is bone, this is another bone. This part is the tendon, that is attaching the tendon to the bone, and this part is the ligament, which is attaching the two bones. So this is our tendon and this is our ligament. Okay, right? So the diagram also you can understand. Ligament holds the bones together. It is elastic and strong. You can make it in the different forms also. Now coming to the bone and cartilage. What are these two? The bone and the cartilage. The bone, as you know, it is hard and not flexible. It is not flexible. But the cartilage is flexible. The cartilage are present in the tip of the nose, tip of our ears. You know, these parts are very soft, flexible, and there is no blood vessel. Okay, so non-porous, no pore in this, no blood vessels. It provides the support. On the other hand, bones are hard and it's not flexible. We can't move our bone. If we can move our bone, it's gone. It's porous. It has the pores in the bones, you know, because to get in the oxygens and all. Okay, blood vessels are also there. How? The veins and arteries, these are the blood vessels are present and provide the shape of the body. It gives the framework of our body. All right, so it provides the shape. So this is the difference between the bone and the cartilage. Now we are at the end of this. The human nervous system, that is the one that regulates the whole work of our body. It consists of the brain, spinal cord, and the nerves. Okay, the brain, that is control center of our body. That spinal cord, which attaches with the bone. See, this is not a bone. This is not a brain. This is the skull. Inside the skull comes under the skeletal system. Inside the skull, there is the soft brain, which comes under nervous system. And from the brain, there is a soft part that is attached, that came down. That is called the spinal cord. And again, spine is protecting the spinal cord. There is again a protection, that is spine. So we call this is, to keep it straight, this is our spine. Inside the spine, there is the soft spinal cord, and that carries all the information to other parts. And spine is again attached to the nerves. These nerves basically going to the all parts throughout all the limbs, all this whole body and legs till the toe. Now, this is a picture of a nerve cell which is called neuron. In this neuron, this part in the middle part, this is, you can see, this is the head part. Here, this is the nucleus. Other than nucleus, all the cell organelles that we have learned in chapter 5 are present, whether it's mitochondria, whether it's Golgi, whether it's ER, all are present. Cytoplasms are also present, and this is called the cell body. And outside the cell body, this part are the dendrons. So the neuron has two main parts, the dendron and the axon. The axon and the dendron. In dendrons, there are the branch-like structure from it, which are called the dendrites. Okay. And this long tail-like structure is the axon. At the end, there is the telomere. Telomere is the end part of the axon. And there is again another, another nerve cell is present there. Okay. So here this place in between, that is, you can call it as synapses. So this helps to join, like one nerve cell is joined with another nerve cell or the neuron. Okay, these are passing the information from one nerve cell to another, and like this throughout the body. And now see, on the axon there are small cells. These are called the Schwann cells. Schwan, Schwann cell. Schwann cells are covered with this kind of node of Ranvier. These are called node of, no, this is actually myelin sheath. This is actually myelin sheath. The node of Ranvier is this one here. I'm taking this. This is node of Ranvier, depending on who discovered this. And this part is the myelin sheath. This is this one. This is myelin sheath. Okay. So this is myelin sheath. These are the nodes of Ranvier. Nodes of Ranvier are present here. And these are the Schwann cells. So basically, the structure of neuron comes, or sometimes the structure is given and you have to label it. So practice the diagram, which is important. So with this, we are done. I hope you liked today's sessions. You have understood something. Okay. So quick revision, like in today's class, we have started with the tissues. The tissues comes from the cells, and many tissues together, they form the organ. And finally, the organism. So tissues that gives the shape to the body and also helps to store the energy. Tissues can be broadly categorized to plant and animal. The plant tissues can be subdivided to meristematic and the permanent. Animal tissues can be subdivided to epithelial, connective, muscle, nerve. Other than these different differentiations and the detailing of these the parts of the tissues, we also learn the protective tissues, their function, their structure, the shape, and what is why do they perform like this, where is the position. The functions depend on the position of them. So those who have not subscribed, kindly click the subscription button and click the bell icon to get all the notifications that I posted or I created. It will come to you. Please like button if you like any part of the video, and share with your friends so that this can be spreaded to the all corner of the world. Happy learning. See you next time.
I'll be the last one left when the lights go out.